After the success and the feedback from the last few videos, I've been getting a few messages in my DMs saying, Steve, you need to get on the sours. We want some cocktails to make with sours. As you can see, I've succumbed. I've got a bottle of Raspberry Sourz. It's not something I've had in the last sort of 10, 12, probably even close to 15 years. But I succumbed. I've got a bottle of Raspberry Sourz. This is this week's £25 haul video. So first up, what did I spend? Well, I spent a little bit less this week. I spent £22 and 5 pence, purely because sours, you know, sours is flipping cheap. And if you're asking, if you're watching this and you're not familiar with sours, what they are, it's a brand in the UK that's been around for, I don't know, 15 plus years or so. I'm assuming it's vodka based. I don't actually really know, but they do apple, tropical. There used to be blue sours. There's raspberry sours. I think there's a couple of more, mango. I'm not sure anyway, but we went for the raspberry sours. Let's give you a little close up there so you can see. They're only 15% ABV. So if you've got a bottle of vodka or a bottle of rum or something, you know, you can add it to it because they're not that strong. But cocktails are not about getting you a little bit tipsy. Cocktails are about having a bit of fun. So that's the sours. What else do we buy? Well, it kind of dawned on me, it doesn't actually make too much difference what supermarket I go to, because it's going to be their own cheap brands wherever I go, apart from Aldi. Aldi could be the different one, because I went to Sainsbury's a couple of weeks ago and it was very similar to Tesco's. So I'm just going to keep going to Tesco's and kind of propping out with a bit of Aldi, because they're all the same. Morrison's, Asda, they're all kind of the same except for their own brand's booze. So we'll mix it up, but for now, Tesco's, I've got some of their fake lemonade or fake Sprite. I've got some mint, I've got some limes, I've got some fresh raspberries. This is quite interesting. I've got some apple cordial, if that's what you want to call it, apple squash, some cranberry and raspberry juice, and I got some passion fruit juice, some good old Rubicon. Now, as I just said, before I carry on, I did spend a little bit less. There was a little bit, about £3 left in the budget. And to be honest, you could have gone, I was kind of scratching around for other things, to be honest. Because, as I say, the Sprite, I've got a funny feeling it was about £11 or something like that. Really, really cheap. So I haven't bought any sugar this week, purely because I've got sugar left over from a last couple of hauls. So you could have added a bag of sugar, you could have made your own sugar syrup, and you could have done the same with vanilla extract and all that kind of stuff. As I say, I've got little bits of bobs lying around, so I'm just going to maybe use them or point you in a direction where you can use them. But there was a little bit left in the budget. Now, the first two obvious drinks that you can make with this, Raspberry Sourz and Sprite, Raspberry Sourz and cranberry juice. They are two very, very easy highballs. I'm not going to show you how to use that. Instead, for your first cocktail, what actually goes really, really well with Raspberry Sourz or anything kind of raspberry-ish is actually Appletiser. Now, I didn't want to blow the budget on buying a bottle of Appletiser, so I'm going to show you very, very quickly, as obvious this is, how to make kind of a Raspberry Sourz and fake Appletiser. So this is very, very simple, build in a glass. It's really not rocket science, this one, but it is probably, and I'm going back years ago when I used to run a couple of the student bars in Cambridge. I'm going back years. This was a very popular serve, this. So I'm going to do a 50ml double bubble of Raspberry Sourz. This is where the apple squash comes out to play. And this is actually really good. It's about £1, I think. And it's concentrated. You only need 25ml. It will be adjusted taste. If you want to add a little bit more, that's absolutely fine. But I'm just going for 25ml of apple squash, apple cordial. Going to add some ice to the glass. And then we are just going to top up with our Tesco's, our fake Sprite. It's 50p. It's 50p. It's an absolute bargain. It's literally like a quarter of the price of normal Sprite. So just add a little bit to the glass, about half fill, maybe 2/3 full. Leave enough room to give it a little stir so you don't kind of spill it. Just combine that. I've just added another ice cube and I'm just going to top up with lemonade. Well, I say lemonade, it's Sprite. For all intents and purposes, it is Sprite. Lemon lime soda. This is delicious. You can garnish this with some mint. You can garnish this with a fresh apple. Honestly, it just does what it says on the tin. It saves you so much money than buying Appletiser. And apple and raspberry, we know, goes very, very well together. So it's kind of just a nice and easy, very cheap, very quick Raspberry Sourz and Appletiser. Now, for your second cocktail, I'm going to do a pimped up Raspberry Sourz Raspberry Mojito, effectively. Really, really simple and easy. We're going to use a lime, we're going to use the Raspberry Sourz, a bit of the cranberry and raspberry juice, some fresh raspberries, mint, and we're not going to use sugar. I'm not actually going to use sugar in any of these cocktails because we've got Sprite. If you're going to use soda water, then you might want a bit of Sprite. So the first thing, if you're going to use soda water, you might want a bit of sugar. So the first thing, we've got half a lime instead of a whole lime because we haven't got the sugar. And just squeeze that in. Now I've just got 4 raspberries. These are juicy, quite decent sized raspberries. If you're slightly smaller, go for 5. And I'm just going to take a muddle out. I'm just going to press them down, turn them into kind of a puree. Now we're ready to build out the cocktails. So we're going for our Raspberry Sourz. We're going for a double bubble. If you want to use vodka, or if you want to use a bit of rum with this, then perhaps dial back the sours to 25ml and then do 25ml of your chosen booze. Even a flavoured gin would kind of complement this quite well. So to go with the sours, I'm then going to go for the cranberry and raspberry juice. Again, as I've said many, many times, I prefer the cranberry and raspberry juice, but if you've just got cranberry juice, that's absolutely fine. So we're going for a 50ml double bubble of that. Now I've just picked out 2 sprigs of mint from my second bag of mint. I'm just going to garnish that up. There we go. We've got a sprig of mint there for that. Keep another sprig of mint there for the garnish for this one. I've got 8 to 10 mint leaves. As I always say, you never muddle mint in your glass. Pick them off, 8 to 10 mint leaves, palm your hand, give them a spank the mint, await the aromas, and just pop them in your glass. And then we're just going to half fill our glass now. No need to measure, it will be about 100ml, but just half fill your glass with your fake Sprite. Can't stop calling it fake Sprite, but your fake Sprite. Now, I always think mojitos are better with crushed ice, so I've got some ice that I've just crushed down. So I'm going to 2/3 fill my glass, just leaving enough room because obviously we are going to churn the drink now, and if we fill it up, we're just going to kind of spill it all over the bar or your table or whatever. So leave enough room for a little bit of feisty churnage. There we go. That's a new word, isn't it? Churnage. Bring the raspberries, the lime to the top, and then I'm just going to crown this with a bit more crushed ice. That is actually really, really delicious. Of course, it's not that strong, so you can't really taste the alcohol in it, which could be a little bit dangerous. If you can't handle your alcohol, it could be a little bit dangerous because you really can't taste that at all. But just to garnish, mint, you've got some raspberries there, raspberry kebab. That is just a fun summertime raspberry mojito. As I say, because if you don't like mojitos because of the rum, then I promise you this is just tasty. It really is tasty. Now for your third and final cocktail, this one does need a name. I've just very unimaginatively titled this a raspberry and passion fruit martini. But get creative. We've virtually used all the ingredients that we've so far. The only one I'm going to add to this is the passion fruit. So I'm going Raspberry Sourz, actually some raspberries there, and some Rubicon passion fruit juice. Now this is one that you could add a touch of sugar to if you feel like it. I'm using lime. You might think, well, hang on a minute, if I don't use the lime, I won't need the sugar. You could just do Raspberry Sourz, raspberry and passion fruit. I just always say citrus and a bit of sweetness will bring out the flavours even more of a base spirit. So I kind of use citrus in that way, but if you don't want to, don't worry. We've got half a lime. It's the other half a lime that I've just had for that. Half a lime, just squeeze that in. I'm just going to take another 4 juicy raspberries, and then we're going to do exactly what we did for the mojito. Just press them down, turn them into a nice kind of raspberry puree. Then to that, I'm going to add 50ml of Raspberry Sourz. And again, you could pep this up with a bit of vodka. It's kind of a loose riff on a French martini, except we're using passion fruit juice instead of pineapple juice, obviously. And French martini is vodka Chambord. We've got raspberry all in one there. So just add, it's a kind of different in that way. So I've got a 50ml double bubble of that. Add some vodka if you want to, add some rum. The last thing we're going to do is add some Rubicon passion fruit juice. So unscrew it. It's just one of these things you have to do for this. Unscrew it, redo it up, then shake it. And then we're going to do a 50ml double bubble of passion fruit juice. Top up your cocktail shaker with plenty of ice. Bit more ice there, and then it's your daily workout. We haven't had a daily workout yet in this video. It's your daily workout. Good hard fast shake, 10 to 12 seconds. None of this up here, hard and fast. 10 to 12 seconds, power shake, go. Now for this one, I think this is probably one you will want to double strain. I know a lot of you don't like your bits, and to be fair, bits in a martini in a coupe glass, I'm not sure that's the done thing. So double strain, collect all your little tiny bits of raspberry. And as you can see, the raspberry combined with the passion fruit juice is giving you a nice bit of froth. We do love Rubicon for that. And then to garnish, I'll do it for the thumbnail, for the photo, but you could do like a little raspberry kebab. You could just do, if I've got a little bit here, you could just do a little tiny sprig of mint on top. That looks quite cool. But there we go. Give us a name, passion fruit raspberry martini. It's actually really delicious. It doesn't need sugar. It really doesn't need, for me at least, it really doesn't need any sugar syrup, but you could add a little bit if you want. The lime just brings out the raspberry notes, and I think lime, because of the porn star martinis, we know, the lime does go quite well with passion fruit juice, just kind of brings all those flavours out. I tell you what, this is a really, really fun martini. And you know, another thing you could do with that as well, it's just dawned on me, you could add some fake Sprite in that and turn that into a highball cocktail as well. So in this video, I've created 3 here, 4, plus your cranberry, your sours and cranberry, your sours and fake Sprite as well. So we've got, what, 5, 6 different cocktails there you could do with raspberry sours for less than £25. I think that's an absolute bargain. If you've got any other suggestions of cocktails that you'd make with that, or what other mixer would you have bought to make cocktails with that, let me know in the comments below. And if you want another £25 haul video, right there.